Welcome to Losing It 2025. I'm Ken, and I just went to the grocery store and got a ton of food. And I thought this was as good a time as any to show you what I buy when I go to the grocery store. I don't always get all of this. Sometimes there are things that I get that are not included in this, but this was a pretty good grocery haul. There was a lot of great food in it that I'd like to share with you. Part of the reason I decided to do this video is a couple of my sons are at the point where they've decided they want to start to lose weight as well. And they asked me the other day, they're like, well, Dad, what are some of your staples? You know, what are some of the things that you buy? So this video is as much for them as it is for you and for me. So I'm going to go through what I bought when I went to the grocery store just now. And I'm going to explain not only what I bought, but why I bought it, maybe how I use it or why. And at the end, I'll tell you how much all of this cost, okay? So let's start with the brown rice. So picked up some brown rice, just went with the store brand here. I use brown rice quite a lot. I use it in soups. I use it as a snack, you know, just make it and have it on hand. I will food prep brown rice a lot of the time. I go with brown rice because it has a lower value on the glycemic index and it's just got more fiber. It's better for you than white rice. I do use white rice still sometimes, but usually what I'll do is I'll cook it in the refrigerator overnight to make it more of a resistant starch. If I'm just gonna have rice that I just want to have as soon as I cook it, I try to go with brown rice. So there's that. I also bought some beans. We got some dry black beans, couple bags of those, dried black beans. Got some pinto beans. Now here's the thing, you know, when you think about beans as a protein source, I mean, like these black beans were less than $2 a bag, right? Well, a lot less, almost closer to $1 than they were to $2. You get a big bag of beans, pinto beans like this, garbanzo beans or chickpeas, if you will. So, you know, got a lot of those, and I bought a lot of beans, probably more than I needed, but they're cheap. I've got an Instant Pot that I use to cook those with, and they are so much tastier than their canned version, you know. Going with those, they go in soups, they go in hummus. My wife makes homemade hummus with those. We'll make chili or just have them whole and ready on hand. Now, sometimes I do want something a little quicker and more convenient because even in the Instapot, it takes, you know, 30, 45 minutes to cook those dry beans if they're unsoaked. So I do keep a few cans of beans on hand just as a way of, you know, having, these are navy beans, pinto beans. I already showed you the garbanzo beans or chickpeas and the black beans. So I like to keep at least a can or two of each of those on hand in case I need them quickly. And I'll just open them up, rinse them off, and throw them in a salad or maybe wrap them up in a tortilla or something like that. So those are great to have on hand when you need something quick. Now, I mentioned the brown rice that I'll use my rice cooker to make, but I also, for the sake of convenience, keep some prepackaged foods that I can just heat up in 90 seconds. We've got quinoa and bulgur right there, barley and lentils, white and red quinoa. So those are things that I'll have and keep on hand. I don't eat those all the time. I eat those when I need something quick and convenient or when I'm in a hurry. Sometimes I'll just take a package of those with me to work and that'll be part of my lunch, or maybe I'll have that over a couple of days, you know. But having those on hand for quick and convenient whole grains is a really great way to be prepared for every eventuality. Let's go ahead and go with these right here. These are a treat for me. I like to get sparkling water in the cans, so sometimes I'll have those. I don't have them every day. There's no sugar in them. It gives me the feel of having soda without the without the caffeine, without the sugar or high fructose corn syrup, without the artificial sweeteners, or at least mostly without artificial sweeteners. I tend to prefer to avoid those when I can. So it's cool, it's cold, it's refreshing. You get that feel of cracking open a can. I also recently got a Soda Stream as a Father's Day present, which I love. I've been using that quite a bit. So I'll probably end up buying fewer of these since I have the Soda Stream now, which can make carbonated water for me and I can flavor it however I want to. Another thing I bought today were raisins, prepackaged. I don't normally buy prepackaged raisins, but while I was shopping, I haven't had much to eat this morning, went on a 3-mile walk today, and I did take my diabetes medication this morning, and right in the middle of the shopping trip, I felt my blood sugar crash. I just like real quickly, I could feel it coming on. So I needed some quick sugar. So I cracked open a box of these raisins. So now I've got some extra raisins. So what else do I have here? We've got some onions. Of course, I like to buy onions in bulk because we go through them so quickly. They go into salads. We water saute them to flavor all kinds of dishes that we make. So we use a lot of onions, and I'll usually buy those bagged. Another thing I got was some mushrooms. I got a couple different varieties. I got a couple packages of the baby bellas. I got a couple packages of the white mushrooms. These will end up being roasted. So I will cover them, I'll rinse them off, maybe put a little bit of vinegar on them, and then I'll season them with a variety of different seasonings, maybe some smoked paprika, maybe some powdered garlic, a little bit of salt, or maybe Italian seasoning. And then I'll roast these in the oven, and these make a great snack or a great addition to lots of different dishes. I made a chickpea pasta dish earlier that will probably end up with some of those on top of it as a garnish. Something I got today that I've never got before because I wanted to try it. I've heard about some of the health benefits and probiotic benefits of it, but I got some organic coleslaw. I'm going to try this out and see what I think of it. This is probably like the one thing that I bought today that I've never actually tried before. Coleslaw was never something that I ate, at all. I don't think I've even ever tried it. So, or if I have, I don't remember. But I wanted to give this a try. So you should always be willing to try new things. So I'm going to try some sauerkraut. Got some hearts of romaine, some romaine lettuce, because I'm going to make a salad tonight. I like to make a big bowl of salad. It'll have a lot more than lettuce in it, but I was out of lettuce, so that's what I ended up with. Also got a really big bag of broccoli, so some of that will get chopped up and probably added to that salad. Some of that will end up being roasted. My wife's going to saute some of it later. So big bag of broccoli. Got to get those cruciferous vegetables in, every day if you can. Now, I did buy some fresh produce, including the things that I just showed you. Also got some mini sweet peppers. These are going to be roasted and eaten pretty much just whole or added to various dishes. Got some fresh strawberries. The thing about strawberries is they just go bad so quickly, but these were only $1.99 for the whole little container, and these are going to be eaten pretty quickly. So something that I'll show you that I got just because I want it to be reflected in the price point that I give you is a big bottle of distilled water. This is not for consumption. I'm not going to be drinking this. This goes in my CPAP machine because among the other chronic illnesses that I have that I'm trying to lose weight to reduce or eliminate is sleep apnea. I've got a real bad case of sleep apnea, so that goes in my CPAP machine. What else did we get? Let's stick with some liquids for a moment. I got some non-dairy oat milk. Primarily, I use this for cereals a little bit, but the main thing that I use this to make is my overnight oats. I make overnight oats on a regular basis. Those are something, especially during the school year, that I have almost every day. Sometimes I'll have them for breakfast. Sometimes I'll have them for lunch. Sometimes I'll have them as just an afternoon snack. A good bowl of overnight oats is wonderful, and that is what I use this oat milk for. Sometimes I'll use almond milk. Those are the two that I normally use. Now, I did get some pre-chopped, leaning into the camera here, stuff's getting out of reach. More mushrooms. I did get some pre-chopped vegetables. I got some red onion and some green onion. The only reason I got these is because they were 50% off. I love it when things are 50% off, especially produce. And I'll use these today to add to that chickpea pasta dish that I was talking about earlier. So those will get added to that. That having been said, I use a lot of frozen vegetables. I'm going to show you these now, and then I'm going to walk away and go put them in the freezer because they're starting to thaw out. But I've got frozen mustard greens, got a couple of containers of that. I did get some frozen broccoli, some frozen cauliflower, and a couple of packages of frozen cauliflower. These all go in my smoothies. Now, I also put a lot of frozen fruit in my smoothies, usually blueberries, always blueberries, sometimes dark cherries, sometimes a tropical blend of pineapple, mango, and bananas. I already have all the fruit, so I didn't need to buy any of it today, but those are all for smoothies. That's one of the ways that I make sure that I get my cruciferous vegetables in and my green leafy vegetables in each and every day, is I blend them into my smoothie. Additionally, that this will sometimes go into the smoothie, this will sometimes be used for a soup, is I got some frozen butternut squash, and then I also got some frozen peas and carrots. The frozen peas and carrots, as well as the peas, carrots, and corn, these are not for smoothies. I don't generally put those in smoothies. Those go into stir fries, they go into soups, they go into pasta dishes. These are just ways that I amp up the vegetable content of pretty much everything else I make, whether it's rice or pasta or anything else. So these are needing to get into the freezer. So if you will excuse me for just a moment, I'm gonna go put those away and I'll be right back to show you the rest of this grocery haul. My vegetables, mine. And I'm back. I want to give a little shout out to these lovely hanging planters that my wife made for her hanging herb garden. She made them out of copper wire glass jars and a curtain rod, and man, they're cool. Smells great in here with the fresh herbs growing, and we can use those in our cooking. So kudos to my wife for her creativity. I'm always impressed by her. So what else do we have here? More mushrooms. I really got a lot of mushrooms. I'm going to need to make some of those today. We got a couple of bags of mini cucumbers here. I love these mini cucumbers. Now, don't get me wrong, regular cucumbers are fine, but these are just awesome because you can chop them up, throw them in a salad. They make great snacks. Just like that. They're fantastic. Mini cucumbers, I'm telling you. They're good. You don't even need any sauce on these. They're delicious. All right, so let's move on to a few other things here. Let's look at some prepackaged stuff, some jarred stuff, that type of thing. I have some lemon juice and lime juice. I have these. These are great for adding to various dishes, squirting on some hummus, or into anything else that you might need a little acidity in. Now, don't get me wrong, it's great just to grab a lemon or a lime, cut it open, get the juice there. But sometimes you need a little convenience, and these are great for that. Another thing I like to do with these, I mentioned that I just got a soda stream, a little squirt of these into the carbonated water that I've made with the soda stream, and I don't need any other flavoring. It's absolutely perfect. So I've got those. I was running low on a couple of my favorite spices. I needed some Italian seasoning and some ground turmeric, both of which are used frequently in this kitchen, whether we're making Italian food or Indian food or just something that we want to have a little extra flavor in. Italian seasoning, Italian herbs, and of course the ground turmeric are great. If you use turmeric, make sure that you add a little black pepper to whatever it is you're cooking so that it can activate the turmeric and make it more effective nutritionally for you. So that's important. We've got a few other things here. I always make sure to have some vegetable broth on hand, and we were running a little low because we made soup the other day, and so I needed to get some of that. I drink my coffee black personally, and sometimes I'll use the automatic drip. Sometimes we'll use the Keurig, and I love this Aldecoa coffee. The Aldecoa coffee, the Mexico flavor, it's delicious. So I got some of that. I drink my coffee black. My wife, however, likes to have a little cream and sweetener in hers, so I get her this this Planet oat milk creamer. Comes in several different flavors. This is the one that I got today, is the coffee cake flavor. So this is not low sugar, okay? But it is non-dairy, so there is that. And it's better than, just going with the whole milk and stuff. A couple other things. Got some dill pickles to snack on. These two items right here are going into a dip that I'm going to be making out of tofu. So I'm going to pop some tofu in the blender with some extra herbs and spices, and I'm going to add some artichoke heart and some fire roasted red peppers. So these are going into a dip for later tonight, which I'm looking forward to. I found a recipe on Sauce Stack that I want to try. So thank you, Sauce Stack, for the recipe on this tofu-based dip. He mentioned the red peppers. I decided to add the artichoke hearts just to see how that would taste. So I'm looking forward to that. What else do we have here? We've got a couple of things that go together, so I'll pull these up here. I've got some Dave's Killer hamburger buns and some barbecue sauce. I did go for the no sugar added barbecue sauce, and these are going to be used to make another recipe that I got from Sauce Stash, which was the lentil sandwich. So I'm going to take some lentils, going to cook those up, and I'm going to make basically a sloppy Joe sort of sandwich out of lentils, and these are two of the ingredients that I needed for that. We're almost through this entire food haul, so thanks for sticking with me. Next up, we have 3 or 4 or 5 of my favorite things, and I kind of saved these for last on purpose. But before I get to those, I'm going to just get one more thing out of the way. We're running short on silverware around here, so I did get some plastic spoons. I only mention that because I want everything that I bought reflected in the total that I share with you at the end of this video in just a moment or two. So a few other things that we got are these. I got a 5-pound bag of Yukon Gold potatoes. I love these Yukon Gold potatoes, and here's what I do with them. I wash them, poke them with a fork, and put them in my Instant Pot, and I cook them for about 12 to 14 minutes in the Instant Pot. Then I take them and I put them in a sealable container, and I put them in the refrigerator. I leave them overnight, and the next day I will take them out and I will eat them like an apple. Just the potato, it's delicious. I've actually got one in the refrigerator. I should show you what I mean right now. In fact, I'm going to. Wait one moment. So again, these Yukon Gold potatoes. I love these potatoes. These Yukon Gold potatoes. I absolutely love these. What I do is I take them, I put them in my Instant Pot, put them in the refrigerator overnight after they're prepared, and then take them out the next day, and they're just like this. And I can literally just take these things and eat them. Just as though they were like an apple. Now that might seem bland to some of you, which is what this other thing that I got today is for. Chipotle Cholula. If I were going to do an advertisement for a condiment, I would want it to be Chipotle Cholula. This stuff is fantastic. So you just take a little bit of this, take your potato, just dash that on right there. See that? Dripping all over the place. You don't even need to add any salt to it. It's that good. You don't even need to add any salt. It's delicious. Potatoes are highly nutritious. They actually have more potassium than bananas. They are extremely filling, and they make a great addition to any kind of a meal plan. I use them frequently as snacks. I'll use them as the main course. They are so versatile. People think that potatoes are unhealthy. What's unhealthy is what you put on potatoes. The potatoes themselves are not bad. If you refrigerate them overnight, they even become a more resistant starch, which is it makes them less impactful on your on your blood glucose. So potatoes are fantastic, and they're really a great addition to your meal plan. They are a staple for me. I eat them all the time, and I put hot sauce on them. I put Cholula on them. Sometimes I'll put a little salt and pepper on them. Other herbs, basically any herb you want, any spice you want. Potatoes are a great vehicle for those things. And whether they're regular potatoes or sweet potatoes, they're just fantastic. I can't recommend them enough. I love them. So those are something I buy at the grocery store all the time, are potatoes. We are down to just a few more items, so if you'll stick with me. Another thing that I like to buy a lot is this right here, Forager Yogurt. This is my favorite plant-based yogurt. It has 130 calories per serving, 9 grams of fat, Only 3% of the calories come from carbohydrate. Total carbohydrates only 9 grams. 0 grams of added sugar and 3 grams of protein. Total grams of sugar is just 1 gram. So this stuff right here, it's no sugar added. It is vanilla flavored. This is what I generally use for my cereal. Instead of putting plant-based milk or any other kind of milk on my grape nuts or my raisin bran or whatever kind of cereal I might be eating, I will put Forager yogurt on that cereal. Another thing that I will use this for is for desserts. Like I'll use it as the base for a fruit salad. So I'll take a banana and cut up a banana with some blueberries and a diced apple. I'll put this in there. Now, it's not quite sweet enough by itself. So I do usually add a teaspoon of honey to whatever I'm using this for. And you're like, well, why would you add that unnecessary sugar? Well, to make it taste better. But then I'm controlling the amount of sugar that's in it rather than just eating whatever the producer of the item gave to me, right? So yeah, I'll put a teaspoon of sugar in it, but like a typical breakfast for me, if I'm not having overnight oats, would be a half a cup of grape nuts, a half a cup of Forager yogurt, a full cup of blueberries, and a small apple diced up with some apple pie spice or cinnamon, and 1 teaspoon of honey. Mix that all up. Throw in just a little bit of crushed walnuts or crushed pecans to get those omega-3s and other good nutrients. And man, you've got a breakfast that's probably around 500 or 600 calories by the time you add all the extras to it. But man, it will stick with you. It's delicious. It's decadent. It almost feels like a dessert. So yeah, Forager yogurt, if they sell it near where you are, I recommend it. It's delicious stuff. Just a couple things left. Two of these actually are treats. They are things that I consider a treat. Don't have them all the time, have them occasionally. One of which are Alyssa's Healthy Vegan Bites. These are healthy vegan oatmeal cookies. 2 of these are 90 calories. They've got a lot of oatmeal. They've got flaxseed. They've got tons of great stuff in them. They do have a little bit of fat, 27 calories from fat, but really it's not too much. Total fat, 3 grams. Dietary carbohydrates, or total carbohydrates rather, 14 grams. Dietary fiber is 10 grams though, so that's only 4 net carbs. You take the 14, subtract the 10, take the total carbs, subtract the fiber, right? 4 net carbs. Soluble fibers, 9 grams. Only 9 grams of sugar. No, I'm sorry, that was the fiber. I'm not wearing my glasses. Only 2 grams of sugar, 0 added sugar. So that's just like from the dried fruit that's in here, and 4 grams of protein. So these are actually incredibly healthy and they are delicious. Like if I'm running late and I don't have time to make a bowl of oatmeal or have a bowl of cereal and I don't have any overnight oats made, I will grab these and I will take a couple of cookies with me with my cup of coffee on my way out the door, and they will get me through, until at least mid-morning. Another thing that I'll use these for is if I'm just wow, I really need a decadent snack, something that tastes really good, is I will take these and I will get a half a teaspoon or maybe a teaspoon of fresh ground, no sugar added peanut butter, and I'll put that on top. And if I'm really, really desperate, I can get a small cube of dark chocolate, or preferably half of a dried date or an apricot, and I'll put that on top there. And it's like I'm eating a candy bar. It's ridiculous. It's so delicious. So I don't know if they sell these where you are, but if they do, get them. If they don't, find something like them, or hey, maybe make your own. But having these on hand is a great little tool when you need something good and something a little decadent. Okay, so I've only got 3 items left to share with you. One of them is self-explanatory. The other 2 I'll explain a little bit. The first one is this right here. These are Olay Extreme Wellness High Fiber Wraps. These come in about 3 different sizes and in a variety of flavors. There's a version that has spinach in them. One of these is 100 calories, 2.5 grams of fat, 25 grams of carb, yes, but 19 grams of fiber, as well as 5 grams of protein with 0 added sugars. These are fantastic. I love Mexican food. I love anything wrapped in a tortilla. This is what I use more than bread or anything like that. If I want to make a wrap that has avocado, lettuce, and other vegetables, and some beans, something to feel like I'm having a burrito, this is what I go for. This is also great for desserts, right? So if I want a dessert, what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll take maybe a tablespoon of that natural peanut butter and I'll spread that over the tortilla. Then I'll take an apple, dice it up really fine, put some cinnamon over the top of that, maybe that teaspoon of honey, maybe not. It doesn't necessarily need it because I'm also going to put some smashed or sliced banana in here. And then I will wrap that up into a tight burrito and cut it in half. And if you've watched my shorts, you've actually seen a video in which I show a picture of that. It's delicious. It's wonderful. It's super healthy. And it feels like a real treat. So these are incredibly versatile. I use them all the time. They are fantastic. Two last items. I'm going to go with this one first. This is Sushia Veggie Roll Value Pack, and it got smushed. So it's not as pretty as it normally is. But this is meat-free sushi, right? It's not real sushi because there's no fish in it or anything. But it's got cucumber, it's got avocado, it's got carrots, it's got the seaweed wrap, it's got some rice. This is a nice treat. And sometimes when I go to the grocery store and I need something to tide me over, I'll get one of these. It's only $6.99, only 380 calories for the entire tray. And it is a great snack. So, you know, that's something that I like. And the last item in my grocery haul today is one that is a lifesaver. Watermelon. Man, if you are just starting out on a plant-based diet, get yourself a watermelon, cut that bad boy open. When you feel like you got to have something sweet, you got to have something satisfying, eat some watermelon. Eat as much of this as you want. I'm not kidding. Don't even bother to count the calories. Just eat as much of this as you want until you're satisfied. This stuff is gold. And it is an incredible thing to have, especially on a hot summer day. So that's it. Here we are almost 30 minutes in on this food haul video. And so what do you think? How much do you think it cost? What did I pay for all of this food that I just showed you? I'll wait. Go ahead, leave your guess in the comments. No, seriously, stop. Just go make a comment right now. Take your guess before I reveal how much I spent on all of this wonderful food. Are you ready? You back? Okay, here it is. I got all of this for about $170. And I wasn't even really trying to be cheap. I bought stuff that was really expensive, especially these. I'm not going to lie, these are overpriced, but they're delicious. But yeah, I got all of this for $170. That's really not bad. It was a whole basket full of groceries for $170, including the coffee, including the yogurt, including, you know, this stuff. So yeah, you can eat a plant-based diet and it can actually be pretty economical as long as you don't go crazy with all of the fake vegan foods, right? Just get real whole foods and enjoy every bite. Thanks for joining me. Have a blessed day.